It is a new year and you might have some new financial goals. So, today we're actually going to be going over 4 tips to help you avoid those spending splurges and help you save more money.
Are you ready to stop the chaos, the stress, the overwhelm that's filling your life? I'm Renae Matt, and together you and I are going to build simple routines that are going to change your life. When you put these habits into practice, you're going to be able to organize your life in a way where you can be there for your family, pay off your debt, save money, your house can stay organized, you don't have to stress about what's for dinner, and you still get time for yourself. So without further ado, let's get started. Welcome to the Routine Advantage Podcast.
It is good to be back. You may or may not have noticed because the podcast has continued as is with 2 episodes a week, but we have been taking some time away. So, in our Facebook community, especially, it has been pretty quiet because we've been taking time over the holidays, and I hope that you have as well. But we are now into January and we are back at everything. We're back at it. So we're going to be amping everything up. You will see us more active in our Facebook community. If you have not joined the community yet, you can do that. It is a free group to join, and you can go to theroutineadvantagecommunity.com and request to join. Make sure you answer the questions so we know that you're a real person, and then we can accept your request to join and get you into that group. But it is going to be a wonderful year. I can just feel it. And if you have not done your reflection for 2025 so that you feel ready to go into 2026, I strongly encourage you to do that. I did a recent episode. I believe it released on Christmas Day. So you can go back a couple of episodes and check that out if you want some reflection questions and you just don't know where to start. That would be a great place to start. Getting tongue tied already. So, today we're actually going to be going over tips to avoid the spending splurges because, especially when we're entering a new year, a lot of people have, fresh goals. And whether or not you do resolutions or anything like that, you might find that coming out of the holiday season, you feel a little more strapped for money because it can be kind of expensive if you haven't planned ahead for all those things. So I do have episodes about saving for Christmas so it doesn't throw off your whole budget, but that's not what we're talking about today. So if you want to go back and look at those, you certainly can. But today we're actually going to be talking about 4 tips to avoid the spending splurges so that you can save more money and meet those financial goals no matter what they are in your life. And while I do encourage a budget routine, these don't necessarily have to all apply to a budget routine. If you don't have a budget yet and you're not ready to start a budget, though I strongly encourage you to start a budget, if you're not ready yet, these can still apply and they can help you as well. So we're going to go into them. 4 tips to avoid the spending splurges so that you can save more money is number one, you need to have a plan for your money. And this is where your budget routine comes into play. But even if you don't already have a budget in place and you're not ready to put a budget in place, you still need to have a plan. You need to know whether or not it's written out. You need to know what you're trying to do with your money. Because if you just have paychecks coming in and you've got, bills that you're paying and you're just spending whatever's in the account because you can, because it's there, then you're always going to feel like you can just buy whatever, whenever, and you're not going to really have any sort of control or system to when you're purchasing or what you're purchasing or how much you're purchasing at a time. You need to have at least somewhat of an idea. And now a budget feels restrictive in a lot of ways if you're not used to doing it already, but once you start using a budget, it actually feels like you have more freedom, which is a weird concept. I know I shared my story, or mine and my husband's story, I should say, back in one of the early episodes. If you go back to episode 7, that is where I share our story, and also I share how to create your own base budget to just give you kind of a template to use each month as your starting point. So you're not doing all of the work all over all the time. It makes it really super simple. And then you have a template to begin from each month, and then you just tweak it from there. And that really does help because what ends up happening is you go into the month having a plan, you know about how much money is coming in, you know about how much money is going out, you know your goals on where you need to spend money and where you want to be spending money and what you want to be saving. You know your goals on paying off any debt or saving for anything in the future, whether it is something big or something small, but it gives you a plan. So then when it comes time to actually spending the money, you don't feel so stressed because you've already mapped it out, and it ends up giving you more freedom to actually follow through with your plans rather than feeling really chaotic. So it's really important to have that plan for your money, and that is where your budget routine comes into play. But if you are wanting to start a budget routine and you haven't done so yet, you can go back to episode 7, like I said, to build your base budget, and then episode 16 is where you know what you have in your base budget, and then now you need to know what to do with it. And so episode 16 will help you with that. So tip number 2 is reduce opportunities for impulse purchases. Now, this is likely going to be different depending on what type of buyer you are. What I spend impulsively on is probably not the same thing that you would impulsively spend on. So that is going to be something that you're going to kind of learn about yourself if you don't already understand this about yourself. But just some simple ways of how you can reduce the opportunities for impulse purchases is to make sure you have your shopping list before entering a store. You know exactly what you're going in for, because otherwise, if you don't have a list, you can just buy whatever you see and whatever looks good at the time, whether it's food shopping or like department store shopping. No matter what you're doing, you want to have an idea of what you're going in for and then stick to your list, because that if it's not on the list, you probably don't need it, right? So it's just ends up being a waste of money at that point. And even if it's on a sale, I know the feeling. I know, like, if it's on sale, it feels like you're saving money, but really you're still wasting money because you didn't actually need the item, so you're spending more money than you needed to anyway. So it's a hard one, but it is a big way that a lot of us spend more than we need to, is not knowing what we're going in for and then just buying what looks good at the time. Another opportunity to reduce this is to make sure you're reducing the number of times you need to go to the store, especially your grocery shopping. If you are somebody that goes and stops at the grocery store every night or 2 nights, then you're adding up all of the different times, like how many times throughout the week do you have the chance to add things to your cart that you don't actually need? So if we can reduce this and we can create our plan and we actually plan out our meals for the week and we create one list and we go shopping and we stick to our list and we get everything we need for the week, we're only going into the store one time and we're sticking to our list, we are reducing our chance to overspend by a significant margin, because we're reducing the opportunities of how many times we have the opportunity to overspend and have those impulse purchases and just add things to the cart, but we're also sticking to our list. And then another one is if you have the option in your area to order online, either for pickup or delivery, so that you don't even go into the store. If you're really struggling with that impulse purchasing and adding things to the cart that you don't actually need, consider ordering online. Knowing that you have stuck to your list and put it in your cart, you can see exactly how much everything is, so you can make sure it stays within your budgeted amount, and then just check out and go pick it up, so you don't even have to enter the store, and you know you stayed within your budget because it's on your receipt before you even arrive at the store. So that is another way that you can just reduce those impulse purchase opportunities. Tip number 3 is to recognize your buying habits and have a plan when you get caught in those habits. So these are your more unhealthy habits that we're talking about, because we need to flip the script here and we need to have a plan that when you find yourself in that habit and you're stuck in that habit, you need an alternative. So, for instance, if your habit is that all of a sudden you get bored, so your habit when you're bored is to pull up your phone and you start scrolling through reels or TikToks, and most reels and TikToks are advertising something, right? So they're sharing an Amazon haul or some gadget that they love, and it's like a lot of ads and pressures to buy things. And a lot of times they look pretty enticing. So we end up spending more than we really need to. We're just bored. So if you catch yourself being bored and just scrolling through reels and TikToks, not actually looking for anything, but just to waste time because you're distracting yourself, have a plan to then instead flip to your camera roll and scroll through your camera roll and organize your photos instead. Like you're still bored, you're still going through your photos, but you're being productive about it and you're not spending money if that is a habit. And this is just a suggestion. This is just something to consider if that is a habit. So you don't have to do all of these that I'm talking about. These are just suggestions. If you struggle with it, this could be an alternative. Another one might be online shopping. If you are on Amazon or any other website and you are just mindlessly shopping and everything looks good and you just keep adding things to the cart, okay, go ahead, put it in the cart, but promise yourself that you will wait an X amount of time before checking out. This is one that works so well. Wait 24 hours, 48 hours, wait a week, wait until next month's budget, whatever works for you, but do not check out immediately. Give yourself time to let the dopamine hit settle because it feels like a dopamine hit when you are adding things to the cart. It feels good. But a lot of times, if you are checking out because you just put a bunch of stuff in the cart and you checked out right away because it felt good, if you're forgetting what is arriving by the time it's arriving, then this is going to be amazing for you. Put it in the cart, let that little dopamine hit, and then don't check out right away. Because what you're going to find is that if you wait a set number of time or a set number of hours or a set amount of time, I should say, if you wait a lot of times you're either going to get a discount in your email popping in asking you to come back and still wait until until your time is set. Don't just immediately check out because you get a discount. But not only will that usually happen, but also you either forget about it or you end up going back to the cart and being like, yeah, I don't actually need this, and you remove it from your cart. And sometimes occasionally you will actually look at it and be like, yeah, I still really want it. I still need it. I'm going to go ahead and check out. And then it's not an impulse purchase anymore. It's an actual thought out process. And now it's an intentional purchase. So then you can go ahead and check out and feel good about making that decision. So that is something that is a total game changer for my husband and I. We always just add things to the cart and then wait to check out because if we find that we're back in the habit of just checking out immediately, we end up spending so much money that we don't need to be spending. And then we're just filling our house with a bunch more crud that does not need to be there. So that is a big one that can help. Another buying habit that you can recognize is if you're going into the store hungry and you're going grocery shopping hungry all the time and you're either forgetting to eat or you're too busy, maybe it's the schedule that you have, you're always going before you have a chance to eat something, make it a habit to keep some like individually wrapped meat sticks or protein bars or something or some like whole fruits, something in your purse just all the time. Like just have it stuck in your purse so that when you're going grocery shopping in those situations, you can have a snack before you go in so you're not going into the store hungry where everything looks good. So it's just knowing what your buying habits are and creating a plan to replace it that is going to help you switch your habits from these more negative habits, I guess I could say, more negative habits to more positive habits when it comes to your buying habits, your spending habits. And finally, tip number 4 is to have fun getting creative with what you already have. And this one can be used in so many ways, but just for an example, if you're thinking about groceries is a huge one for people to spend a lot of money on. So if you're wanting to save money with groceries, do some fridge sweeps where you are cleaning out the fridge and you are using leftovers, you're getting creative and you're making soups, you are doing pantry or freezer cleanouts where you're not buying groceries, you're using what you have on hand and you're just trying to get creative with what you can make with what you already have on hand. Same with your closet. If you have a bunch of clothes and you're wanting to go clothes shopping, but you're wanting to save money in this area, have fun trying new pairings with the clothes you already have. Put together new outfits by pairing a top and some bottoms, pairings that you've never made before. Add some jewelry, add some accessories that you already have on hand, and create some new outfits for yourself by using what you already have on hand. Same with hair products and makeup. Do you really need more eyeshadows? Do you really need more hair serums? Do you really need more nail polish? Like, use up what you already have on hand and just get creative. You might find your new favorite color that you've been hanging on to for 6 months and you've never used it. And what's really great about doing all of these tips or using all of these tips or creating new habits for yourself is that not only will this help reduce the urge to spend and go on those spending splurges, but you're going to save money by breaking that habit. And you're going to find that you're reducing clutter in your house as well and reducing waste because you're not bringing in so many things into your home that you don't actually need, only to need to get rid of it later because it's driving you crazy and you didn't actually need this stuff in the first place. So there are so many positive benefits to doing this that I hope that you take it into consideration and I hope you have fun implementing even just one of these to help you reduce the spending splurges and help you save more money and help you reach your goals. But these are like lifetime habits that you can put into place as just good habits to have for so many years to come. Now, if you need to find some more resources that I have available, you can go to my website at reneematt.com. Otherwise, I'm going to do a quick recap for you for those 4 tips to avoid spending splurges and save more money. So number 1, have a plan for your money. And this is where your budget routine would come into play if you have not already done that. You can go back to episode 7 and then episode 16, and those 2 together will help you create your base budget and then know what to do with it once it's created. Number 2 is to reduce the opportunities for impulse purchases. This is creating that list before you go into the store, reduce the number of times you need to go to the store, do online or order online for pickup or delivery if that's an option in your area. Anything you can do to reduce the opportunities for those impulse purchases. Number 3 is to recognize your personal buying habits and have a plan to offset those, to give you new, better habits. So if you're bored and you're scrolling, have a plan in place that when you recognize that you're doing that, you have something else to switch to. If you are online shopping and everything looks good, put it in the cart, but then have a plan of how long you need to wait before you check out so that you can really think through that purchase. Anything you can do to recognize your buying habits and have a plan, like an alternative that you can switch to. And then tip number 4 is to have fun getting creative with what you already have in your house, your groceries, your clothes, your hair products, your makeup, anything you have in your house. Not only will it help reduce the urge to spend, it's going to help you save money and it's going to help you reduce the clutter that is coming into your home as well. So I hope you found that helpful and I will catch you back here on the next episode.
Did you love that episode or learn something useful? If so, would you do me a huge favor? My goal is to grow this podcast and help as many women as I can break free from the overwhelm so they can truly enjoy their life. The best way for me to do this is for you to leave a 5-star written review on your podcast app and to share this episode with a friend or in your Instagram stories. I appreciate you being here. I hope you have a wonderful day and I will see you on the next episode. Take care.